Hi, how are you?
Hi. Matthew Mainville, Holyoke Housing Authority owner.
Ah, fantastic. So I sit on my Salem Housing Authority, and we're really working on trying to leverage some of our housing authority properties for more housing, more affordable housing in particular.
Very critical.
This is great.
Yeah, we appreciate your support.
So how many units, and can you tell me a little bit more about what you're hoping to use it for?
Sure. This is going to be subsidized housing using Section 8 vouchers, 12 units, 2 handicapped accessible. Commonwealth Builders is the source of funds, and we threw some housing authority equity in as well.
Great. So did you form a nonprofit?
We did.
Okay, all right.
As a matter of fact, yeah.
Nice.
We were lucky enough to be selected by the city to be the Holyoke Redevelopment Authority selected us to be the development partner.
Great.
Yeah. So this is the first phase of what's going to be a 3-phase project. We applied for and received, we put together the application for the city. The city received a huge amount of MassWorks funds, and you can see we put it on the street.
I noticed all the new paving.
Yeah. That was Sarah's work. She used to be in my office when I wasn't there, in the Planning Economic Development office. Now she's with Housing Authority. And so, yeah, I mean, you got to do the infrastructure before the housing.
Yeah.
And so this is part of, like, you know, our redevelopment authority works with the housing authority to aggregate the property. So, you know, phase 2 is over there and phase 3 is down there. So we're still working on the property acquisition for them to do the work.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you're buying the land.
Yep.
You're doing some of the redevelopment, phased approach, and then state's helping with some of the infrastructure needs.
Yep, exactly.
And the construction.
Yeah.
So we used Commonwealth Builders here. We're looking to use
this is community scale.
Community scale, Commonwealth Builders for the homeownership.
Okay, great.
So we're going to be doing a mix of rental and homeownership.
Yeah,
fantastic. Bring homeownership here to South Holyoke.
I mean, anything we can do to clean out the pipeline, you know, both the low-income housing tax credits, all the alphabet soup of programs that you're using is only going to help us meet our housing goals.
H-dip. Fun dance.
I have my constant emails.
That H-dip. Staff has been good about giving us ARPA funds. So
Right.
that's a nice another tool that's in the tool chest. So,
I mean, it's great to be able to use ARPA dollars for longer-term prosperity, longer-term projects like this that you know are going to have benefit well beyond when the money's gone. You'll still have the housing. So
ARPA dollars definitely helped close the gap for phase 1. We're looking into now phase 2. Obviously, construction costs everywhere has gone up, so they've got a new gap.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out how to cover. But this neighborhood, Mayor, is where I grew up. Downtown is broken down into 4 census tracts, and this one in particular is the poorest neighborhood in our city. The median household income is $17,000 a year or so. 98% rental, not a lot of home ownership, which is why the Housing Authority does have a focus for phase 2 and phase 3 to bring in more home ownership. How many units?
So phase 2 is going to be between 18 and 25 home ownership units just for phase 2. And that's in design and made its way through his planning department.
Exactly.
We got our plans in place, and we went out for bid, and as you've seen across the Commonwealth, construction numbers are astronomical right now. And so we're going back to the drawing board a little bit, but we're looking to break ground next year, so we're excited about that.
Yeah. What's the per square foot cost? Do you have an idea what it's looking at? Do we even want to say it out loud? Yeah, I know.
The estimates are the bids that came in, right?
It's almost like, shouldn't we close that gap? That's a lot of money.
Well, that's that's the
Per unit.
The question is the per unit cost now is so high.
But these are home ownership opportunities, right? So that's, you know, we're not doing enough of that, right? So fantastic.
And Mayor, the need is extremely high. Actually, just a few weeks ago, I was at an EDC meeting, Economic Development Council meeting. We had this whole presentation on the housing shortage in Western Massachusetts, particularly up and down the Pioneer Valley. We don't have enough housing stock for our own residents, yet alone new people coming into the city.
Yep.
For these 12 units alone, Matt was just sharing with me before you arrived, 700 people applied, wait list.
It's always the heartbreaking part when we have these lotteries, right?
Yeah.
We stop taking it after 1,000. And it's like,
that's where we think we're going to end up.
Yeah.
The need is high, and this is a predominantly Latino neighborhood. I don't know what the percentage breakdown is. Do you have the?
It's over 90%.
Over 90%?
Yeah.
Latino residents, a lot of folks migrating from the island of Puerto Rico, moving to the city of Holyoke, looking for hope and opportunity. And in a lot of ways, Holyoke is a city of compassion, offering people new hope and opportunity. But this particular neighborhood has had its share of challenges, and you know, we're trying to be as creative as possible with what we have to improve the neighborhood. As you can see, it's getting a whole facelift. If you drive around.
Well, this is great. Great front yard. You know, I always think about where's the front yard. And
so this park was named after Aaron's father, Carlos Vega,
excellent.
who was founder and a longtime leader of Nueva Esperanza. You can see it from here, which has historical significance in the community, specifically for the Puerto Rican Latino community here.
It's great not to just think of it as just a housing project. It's a neighborhood building opportunity, and they all support each other. So kudos on the good work, and we hope to be able to do a lot more of it. We know housing is a key need everywhere, and you know the housing production plans that so many cities and towns are undertaking. Now we actually have got to find ways to build, leveraging public land, working to make sure we've got the state resources to help close those gaps, you know, where they exist.
Yeah, one thing, because I have to go to UMass a little bit and teach the next group of campaign managers and elected officials. I have a campaign, I teach a class at UMass, but I mean, Rep. Duffy hears about this, City Council hears from this, the Mayor hears from this. I have 3 projects right now in the city of Holyoke that could bring 80 to 110 units of housing, over $100 million of investment. Those 3 projects together have about an $8 million funding gap, which is ridiculous. Yeah. So we know there's a housing crisis. I had the projects to bring back units that have been empty for decades.
These are rehab of existing properties.
Rehab existing properties, right? You know,
magic, man. Yeah.
And then, but yet they're dead in the water because they have this, you know, each one has $1.5 million to $2 million funding gap. Not to mention the increased construction costs right now, but like that small number needs to be addressed because, again, even if I get the money tomorrow, you know, it's a year and a half before those units are even online.
Yep.
So
it's not going to be cheaper 2 years from now.
It's not going to be cheaper, exactly. So to think about that, when I got the small restaurants coming in, the mayor, we've got these initiatives where we're doing all this stuff. If I can't get people back to living downtown, so.
And are you doing it? Like you're putting out the RFP, or you're partnering with the private sector partners?
Mostly private sector. Some of these are private sector partners. Some of them were city properties that were sold. So so we're involved in that RFP process. Yep, absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
But this is the power and the potential of the Gateway City Caucus too.
Yes.
Because you understand the problem we have with the real estate value is
100%. The cost of construction, the cost of rents,
exactly.
You know, and what it can mean vitality, especially downtown. Downtowns need people living in them. Like that's
and this is a city just yelling for rehabilitation. You know, we've got these beautiful, unique buildings, and you know, once you hit that 30% or whatever, you have to bring everything up to code, and we love the codes. We want codes.
We like the codes. We don't love them. We like them.
We gotta help these developers help us save our buildings.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as far as leadership is concerned here in the city, with all these projects that we see going on, there's a great collaborative spirit going on, and people who grew up here in positions of leadership now doing the next generation of work. So I'm just very thrilled to be able to work with Madam Rep. Pat Duffy, as well as Mr. President of the council, who grew up, these folks who grew up in the city, and then you got Matt Mainville. But then also you have Anthony Soto, superintendent of our schools.
Hey, nice to meet you. How's the school year
grew up downtown.
I do. I do.
The first Puerto Rican appointed superintendent of the schools.
Congratulations.
We have a business owner here, Priscilla.
Hey, Priscilla, how are you? Good to meet you.
Actually, you visited the business during St. Patrick's. Remember
City Sports.
Now bring it up.
I did.
Jordan, she's the director of the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, great to meet you.
Now, they do want to give you a tour because we know you got to leave at 3:45, and then I'll have to leave shortly too. But just so that folks know, Mayor Driscoll is running for lieutenant governor here for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We all know that. And so when I was just town administrator in a tiny town called Blandford, I was working a lot with the lieutenant governor, even as in a community as small as Blandford is. Particularly during COVID, you had managers and administrators and mayors all across the Commonwealth working directly with the lieutenant governor. And just for me personally, it's great to know that the lieutenant governor will be a former mayor. It's a complex job. You've heard me say that a lot in my own campaign. And if you've never done the job before, it's a huge learning curve, yet alone become the lieutenant governor, where mayors everywhere are going to be looking to you for guidance and for resources to solve local government problems. And so Mayor Driscoll has my full support. And I just thank you on behalf of this city for visiting us here. And any way that I can continue to support the campaign and get you and Healy into the State House, because Holyoke, as well as the rest of Western Mass, could really use your help, especially from someone who has been in the trenches as mayor. Thank you for visiting us here in Holyoke. Just wanted to put that plug in before we go and have all sorts of conversations.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it. And I think Holyoke has amazing potential. It's going to be up to us having a strong partnership with all of you to realize it. Yeah. And it's here, right? Of course it's resources. It's never easy. Even the easy stuff isn't easy. But I really am optimistic about what we can do working together. I'm looking forward to it very much.
Got it.
Yeah.
So let's get you in there before your staff takes you away from us.